variant we're hunting is you.
Hear ye, hear ye. Let me regale you with a multitude of verses explaining how Loki, god of mischief, will indubitably set up a multiverse. Multitude of verses. Okay, whatever. Also, let's just be honest, I can't keep that voice up for the whole video, but Miss Minutes literally said multiverse and madness. So lend your ears for a tale that leads directly to the good Doctor Strange. 2. Spoilers for Loki episode 2 ahead.
Word of the Ancient One's death will spread through the multiverse.
Is this guy great or not great? Seriously, I can't tell, but I'm just having such a good time watching Loki. The whimsical scamp was definitely not our first peek at the multiverse, so let's not veer off the path the Marvel Studio timekeepers created. Multiverses were already in play before Phase 4, even back in Avengers Endgame. With our current Loki 2012's Tesseract, snag, and of course, the explanation of timelines by the Ancient One. It was left pretty open-ended for us to figure out, but we were getting little bits like the quantum realms and quirky visits to the mirror dimension all the way along. The rules changed a little bit as we got into WandaVision and started talking about Nexus, as teased in one of those delightfully confusing period perfect advertisements. With Miss Minutes being so concerned about Nexus events, it's not, gonna be too much of a stretch to figure out which Avenger can trigger a Nexus. She trapped Westview and seems like she might be due for some dimension dipping for those kids of hers again. So why the Time Variance Authority isn't all over Scarlet Witch? Okay, that's still a mystery to me. However, none of this is spelled out in plain English, quite like Miss Minutes in the first episode of Loki, with a quick refresh of our multiversal history lesson. Since it might take a time or two to sink in, the gist is basically, universes were fighting all over the place, but then the timekeeper said, nah, don't do that or you'll wreck it all up. So here's the sacred timeline. I think Loki put it best when he said,
Timekeepers, the sacred timeline. Who actually believes this bunkum?
Ticket, sir.
well, Loki, your universe does. We like watching it on the telly, and I don't know what bunkum is, but keep it in your timeline, okay? Because it sounds gross. Anyways, Loki, you green mischievous little imp, since you decided to non-stop hop between timelines using the Tesseract, you created a new branch, which could easily create more branches and Nexus events, which, as we are all selfishly hoping, will lead to multiversal madness. Clearly not a coincidence that happens to sound much like the film surname of a certain doctor. Strange how that happened. So if the TVA's whole gig is to stomp out variants to keep control of the timeline, we're definitely feeling that by the end of the Loki series, somebody in the TVA better be getting a pink slip. How do you get fired from a time-based position? Couldn't you just travel back to the time before you were fired? Alright, anyways, I'm sorry, not the time. We've already been served a load of Lokis. How does the TVA stand a chance if there are this many multi-dimensional gods of mischief? The series is almost brand new, and the Lokis, or Loki, don't seem to be very careful at all. We still have Spider-Man No Way Home to go, with rumors flying about of every spider to ever cast a web getting caught up in it. This sounds like literal madness to keep up with, even before the good doctor throws on his cloak. But by then, the multiverse could be in full swing, looking for some logically minded mystical being to try and put all of Humpty Dumpty back together again, and create a little order. While we encourage believing and trusting in our friendly physicians, this might be more than any one can handle, and what if there are two doctors? Or an infinite amount of them? Also, they can all astral project, and they all think they're right, and they all think they live in the right dimension, until a war breaks out. Oh my god, it's madness.
If it were me, this is where I would hide.
Well, that sounds like something I would call a not-so-secret entryway to Marvel's Secret Wars. As Miss Minutes explains, the whole reason the Timekeepers showed up in the first place is because of the countless timelines battling with each other for supremacy. Beat the Timekeepers, and who's stopping that from happening again now? The TVA? That gang of dweebs got dummied at a Ren fair. Phase 4 is going to need heroes from multiple dimensions jumping between timelines, which could lead to a whole, all-new, all-different Avengers lineup made up of members from different universes coming together. Get a notepad ready, because if you thought there were a lot of characters in Endgame, you ever look at a splash screen that had multiple versions of every one of those characters at the same time? We're going to have to go double IMAX to fit all that chaos on screen. So who's taking bets as to when the Timekeepers will actually have to step in and get involved? one looks an awful lot like Kang the Conqueror, already slated for the next Ant-Man movie. With so much Loki, Spider-Man, and Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness to go, there is room for multiple clashes with different heroes throughout time-space. If you're looking for a pull list to try and kind of get ahead of all this multiversal madness, may I be so kind as to suggest reading Jonathan Hickman's run on the Avengers leading into Secret Wars. Just be prepared, because Hickman, he ain't exactly holding your hand on this one. You can also check out the 1984 Secret Wars, which takes every hero and every bad guy and tosses them all in a battle world to figure it out. Enjoy it!